All right, guys, I'm back with Lily to the rescue. And we're already up to the last chapter, chapter 12. Remember, in chapter 11, Mom told Maggie Rose she needed to stop rewarding the crows or they would depend on Maggie Rose for food and wouldn't find their own food. Chapter 12. We sat on the blanket, and Maggie Rose spread out all the items that the crows had brought. I do not know why the crows picked up things like that in the first place. They're not even good to eat. Immediately, Casey and some of his crow friends landed on the blanket, each with a glittery thing in its beak. I yawned, already bored with the game. I wandered a few steps away and started sniffing at the ground in case anybody had peed there. I could hear Maggie Rose speaking from behind me. I'm sorry, birds, she said. I can't reward you anymore. You can't start to think of me as a way to get food. The crows hopped around, the trinkets in their beaks. They also looked carefully at all of the glittery items that Maggie Rose had spread out on the blanket, turning their heads one way and another, probably thinking we would all be better off if Maggie Rose would just reach into her basket and give me a piece of her sandwich. Since there was no sandwich, I picked up a bit of stick and shook it hard. I'm very good at shaking things. Do you understand? Maggie Rose asked. I brought these back to show you I don't want them and won't give you any more peanuts. I'm sorry, but that's what Mom said to do. Please don't be angry. Please just fly away and then I'll know you understand. Fly away, crows, please. The crows flapped and hopped and made their dry, croaking noises. I shook the stick even harder, and to my surprise, it flew out of my mouth, heading straight for our blanket. The stick landed right in the middle of the crow's trinkets. Maggie Rose jumped in surprise, and I raced for the blanket. This was so exciting. It was as if I'd thrown a stick for myself to catch. I bet I was the very first dog who ever managed to do anything like that. The crows were startled when I leaped onto the blanket and snatched the stick up in my teeth. They flapped up into the air and scattered into the sky. Casey went with them. I noticed that when the crows landed on the tree branches, they dropped the trinkets from their mouth. The little shiny things fluttered to the ground like peanut shells. The birds all stared down at us with obvious disapproval. I flopped onto my belly and began to chew my stick into bits. Oh, Lily, good, Maggie Rose said softly. You got them to leave. I think they understand now. They won't be back for more peanuts. Good, Lily. Good dog. I was so happy that I was a good dog. I was so happy to feel Maggie Rose's hand on my fur as she stroked my back. In a minute, I felt something else on my back as well. Casey had landed there. The crows in the trees stared down at us. Probably they'd never seen a crow with his own dog before and were wondering how to get one for themselves. After a while, one by one, the crows flapped away. It was just Casey who was left on the blanket with Maggie Rose and me. Casey hopped off my back and drew close to Maggie Rose. My girl picked something up off the blanket and held it out for him. Here, Casey, Maggie Rose said. I can't give you any more peanuts, but I can give you a charm in case you ever decide to make your own bracelet. Casey looked at the thing in Maggie Rose's pinched fingers. Finally, he reached out and snatched it from her hand and flew into the trees. Well, Lily, Maggie Rose said to me, I think they got the message. But it makes me sad. They were just trying to bring me charms, and they probably feel like I didn't like any of their gifts. But I did. She sighed. Working in animal rescue is hard, Lily. It seems like it would always be fun, but sometimes you have to clean out the cat cages, and sometimes you have to do something you don't want to do, like let an animal go or give a puppy you love to a new family. Maggie Rose seemed a little sad, so I stopped chewing my stick and nudged her with my nose to let her know that the best way to be happy was to give a dog a bite of some of the sandwich in her basket. I started wagging furiously when she reached inside the basket and pulled out a small bag, which she opened, letting the marvelous smell of her sandwich into the air. Not you, though, Lily. I won't ever say goodbye to you. Just then, Casey fluttered back down and landed on the blanket. I would have to call this bad timing because Maggie Rose let the hand with the sandwich drop back into the basket. No! Casey no longer carried the gift that Maggie Rose had given him in his beak, but he had something, and he hopped over to her and offered it. Maggie Rose laughed happily. Oh, look, Lily, I gave Casey the charm, and he's rewarding me. It was a peanut. I sighed in disgust. Maggie Rose took the bag out of the basket, broke off a little piece of sandwich, and gave it to me. At last, Casey watched her feed me. Can you say Lily, Casey? Lily? Ree, Casey croaked. Ree. Maggie Rose gasped. You did it! You said Lily, Casey! There was so much joy in her voice that I wagged as hard as I could. We were finally doing picnic the right way. And that is the end of Lily to the Rescue, the first book in this series. What did you think about the book? Did you like it? I'm going to be back next time to read the second book, okay?